Well, happy birthday, George.
Birthday, George.
We wanted
Miss you,
to
buddy.
send you this video to let you know how much we care about you. And really, we think you're a pretty cool guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Someday, sometimes.
without question. We thought, well, maybe we could record a conversation that Rob and I might have about you when you're not around. And so Rob wanted to cover a couple of things. I said, no, you can't talk about that. You can't record that. So we changed and we're going to go a different direction and talk about things you can talk about. So Rob, what would you say about George and his loyalty? Would you say anything? What would you say about George and loyalty?
And honestly, George is probably one of the most loyal people I've ever met. And granted, we've only got to hang out outside of Quest a couple of times, but he's just that guy that no matter what, he will answer the phone. He will speak life into you. He will tell you that if you're being dumb, you're being dumb. He's gonna speak the truth. He's not gonna hold back punches, and he's gonna love on you, and he's gonna help you walk through whatever you need.
Agree. And so, from the qualities of a friend, would you say? I mean, you said a second ago that you felt like he's a guy that would pick up the phone. Do you think he's one of your 3 a.m. buddies?
Oh, 1,000,000%. Yes, definitely.
Can you have 1,000,000%? Is that possible?
Sure.
1,000,000%. All right, excellent. And what would you say? What what makes him that? What I have a couple of ideas, but what would you say makes him a loyal friend?
I I have actually got to personally call him and ask him when I was in a time of need and of something, he was instantly there. He was instantly there for encouragement, for guidance. He's and you see it every time when we're at Quest with him when it comes to the Father's blessing,
Yeah.
and you see the men that are attracted to him, the younger men, because they look up to him so much as a father figure. All jokes aside or anything else, he's literally there 1,000,000% when he's there. And that's the way he's been with me every time I've ever called him about anything. And it's and if even if it's just a conversation, just hey, how you doing? He's he still makes a point. How's it going with you and Amber? Or how's work going or something? It's not just, hey, how's it going? All right, love you, talk to you later. You know,
Whenever I think about George, then the image of James Bond kind of comes into mind, you know. And while James Bond has this affiliate, he has this great affection for dry martinis, then George may or may not, I don't know, probably does, but you know he's kind of the coffee snob, and so in this image of George as James Bond, the secret agent guy, he would have this great elaborate gourmet cup of coffee that he's sipping on. And George has told me many times, hey, life's too short for bad coffee. So
right?
I can remember when he used to carry with him, probably still does, his coffee brewing equipment, right? I mean, he had to grind the beans, then steam it, then brew it, and it had to be a certain way. And that, to me, that just kind of exemplifies George. Not that he's a coffee snob, but he is. But that, you know what, he's so attentive to detail and he knows the stuff about you that then he questions, right? So he remembers the little tiny things, that the little details, the things that make the coffee the way it is, and he remembers those things about you and will ask you about them. And that to me just kind of makes him this great friend. But at the same time, in that same kind of James Bond analogy, then George has got the cool car, right? and he's got the spectacular woman on his arm, and he's probably the smartest guy in the room anywhere that he goes. But he doesn't let on that he's the smartest guy in the room anywhere he goes until all the stupid people have talked and nobody's come to the conclusion. And then George, also known as James, then George will offer the solution. Hey, have you thought about maybe doing it this way? And yeah, of course, it's the solution. So I've always been amazed that George has had the amount of humility that he operates with, because if he was truly James Bond, which in my mind he is, George Bond maybe, then he would be the guy that's coming in talking about how great he is, talking about all the things that he's done. Hey, have you seen my car? Hey, have you seen my woman? Hey, do you want a cup of my coffee? Right? He is, but he's not that guy. He is the guy that is always interested in what's going on with you, finding out what's happening with you. And he has this sixth or seventh sense that, especially when you really need the call, that he makes the call, right? He doesn't, if he hears Holy Spirit kind of nudge him a little bit or give him a poke, then he's usually pretty respondent and will call and to find out what's going on. I don't know if you've had that same experience, that his timeliness of calls is right on the money, man.
Oh yeah, and you get in those conversations with him, and then all of a sudden, me and George kind of bonded right off the bat because both of our favorite football teams suck. So we've been able to talk about how all the bad years that our teams have had, and they're two of the oldest teams in the league, and they still suck, and talk about. And then he goes and flies to Arizona and goes and watch the two sucky teams play, and sends me pictures from the stadium, and so we bonded right off the bat right there. And then, like like I said, we were the CPAC guys or whatever, so we always stay in the same room at Quest
Right,
together. So we had
right.
a lot of great talks just at night after the staff meetings and stuff like that we could just bond over sports or what's going on with our kids. And he talked a lot about his military stuff, and with Austin being in the military, so it was almost an instant bond of how he sat and just listens and pays it, like you said, pays attention and gets the details. And he may bring them up 6 months later, but
Right.
he remembered. And I like to think of First Peter 2:21. It says, "To this you were called, because Christ suffered for you, leaving you an example that you should follow his steps." And that's the way I look at George, that he's completely followed his steps, and he just keeps growing every time that we get around him of his faith. And he's always been just this tremendous man of faith anyway since I've met him. But just the growth that he's had of being able and watching him minister to men
I agree.
and
I
showing
remember
the love
meeting
and the,
him,
the
man.
compassion, but then again being head on. He doesn't hold back any punches. He's not gonna beat around the bush with the guy. He's gonna say, "Hey, this is what you need to do. Have you talked to the Holy Spirit? Have you done this? Have you done this?" He's not just gonna say, "This is what I think you should do." And it's so I think he truly follows in the footsteps that he's supposed to be going, and he's on the path right now that it amazes me that he's not leading a church and leading his own men's events
Right.
and having his own thing there. And who knows, he might, now that he's in Tennessee and has that land, which I'm hoping he might.
Yeah, I hope that he doesn't like start a cult out there, because that also could happen, because he's pretty charismatic. People people dig George, man, and he seems to be like on the list of very many people. He is their go-to guys, like because I know his kids, they go to him. He is a kind of a central figure, and they love him and respect him. But man, there are scads of other people that know George, love George, and he is a go-to guy And with even with all of that going on, one of the things that has always really impressed me about George is his way to and his willingness to submit to authority. He is very willing to submit to authority, whether that came from his time in the military or just comes from his heart positioning his decision to follow after Christ in that way. Man, there are very few people who have all the things going for them that George has going for him that are willing to submit as much as he is willing to submit. That has always impressed me about him, as far as just that it's a characteristic in men that you don't see. It's not one that is demeaning in any way. Matter of fact, it kind of raises his value tremendously, because he is willing to submit to authority, but at the same time, he's also willing to take authority in the places of responsibility that he's given. It's just an incredible example of, I think, what spiritual manhood is supposed to look like.
Agreed, 1,000,000%.
Well, I think that we should probably send him this so that so that he knows that we're thinking about him on his birthday. Any last words that you'd like to say to George?
George, I love you. You have been an amazing friend, amazing brother, and you have truly cared for me and Amber and Austin. And just thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for always being there.
George, I want to say the same thing, man. I love you like a brother. And I hope that this birthday that you're having today is a wonderful day. Hope you're surrounded by love. And I hope that we get a chance to see you face to face really soon, man. Love you. Enjoy your birthday.
Love you, brother.